Jak už to chodí i v kosmickém programu, i s odložením raket, tak i my máme drobné zpoždění, za což se omlouváme, ale věříme, že vás program baví, takže jsme nechtěli zbytečně utlumovat prostor na dotazy teď, ale budeme mít trochu změnu v tom programu, protože v tuhletu chvíli to nebude tak frontální, bude to workshop. Workshop konkrétně od Kima Johnsona z současně české delegace v Evropské kosmické agentuře, kde pomáhá v rozvoji strategie Národního kosmického plánu. Kim je právě z Evropské kosmické agentury a s vámi teďka probere právě ty příležitosti, jak se do ESA zapojit, jak tam třeba jednoho dne najít práci a podobně. So Kim, stage is yours and we are looking forward for your workshop.
Thank you very much. All right. So, dobrý večer. What was it again? Promiňte, moje čeština není dobrá, so I will talk a bit in English. so I will be talking a bit about applying for jobs in ESA and industry. I've heard and I've seen that there's actually 2 staff members of ESA as well, Václav and Matěj, if they're well, the light is a bit, but they can talk and even more. They can also talk about you, talk to you about ESA, how to get in, what's good, what's bad, etc. So I'll be focusing mostly on tips and tricks for applications. Yes, we will need this one. Usually with ESA presentations, they always start a bit boring with the same background. So let's change it a bit and get you into the mood. So if we can get the lights a bit down and the sound a bit up, thank you. It's just going to be very short, so. Voila, so maybe that's a bit better, so to get yourself in the mood a bit. This is, of course, the Ariane 6. The maiden flight was just this year, the 9th of July 2024, and hopefully this brings you back into space with your own launcher. And this you've already seen. So, just very shortly about myself. I'm Belgian, and I study my entire time in the Netherlands. You can see it's quite a long timeline, and then actually in 2023, I moved to Czechia since March this year. I did 1 year of TU Delft, the Delft University of Technology, and then I went to another university in the same city for studying a Bachelor of Aeronautical Engineering. Then I did a bridging program back to the TU Delft and then doing a master's in aerospace engineering. And then right after was actually 1 day after my defense, I started as a young graduate trainee at ESA for 2 years in program management, so something not technical. And then in my 3rd year, I've been placed by ESA here to help the Czech delegation with anything. One of the things is the Czech ISS experiments with the upcoming flight of Aleš Svoboda in 2028. Why am I showing this to you? Maybe you see it a little bit, but here this is red. This means that I actually failed that year. TU Delft had a restriction. You had to get 45 credits out of 60. I didn't. Which was back at the time, it was pretty sad because this is really what I wanted to do. But since I could sort of shift towards an aeronautical engineering University of Applied Science in the same city, I got to do an internship for 6 months in China, and I get to do my bachelor thesis at Airbus for 1 year, Airbus Defence and Space. This has actually led to many questions at my YGT interview about Airbus. So this is just to say that, you know, sometimes we fail, we have good things, bad things, but you can turn it into something, I think, quite nice as well. So in the end, I don't think it's a failure. That's enough about myself. So the goal of the workshop, very simply, I want to motivate you, so all the students, whether you're high school, secondary school, primary school, university, to keep on pushing yourself. If I would be sitting there maybe 8 years ago or something, I would also kick myself and push myself to do more things. Sometimes I was quite lazy. I also want to give you a sort of an awareness of critical thinking. And I also want you to break the wall, the invisible wall. Do not worry about failing, just try, see what happens. A lot of the young graduate trainees at ESA, we actually, when we got the news that we were selected, a lot of people said like, oh, my interview was bad, I didn't think I was going to get selected, but we tried, and some of us got unlucky in this case. So just try, don't worry about failing. Yeah, I think it was also quite nice to do some backgrounds in this wonderful planetarium. But the topics of today, very briefly about ESA Academy, then also very briefly about CV of resume. The words here are used interchangeably. I want to focus mostly on the cover or the motivation letter, some tips and tricks, and then some interview tips. If you have any questions, you can send them via the slido.com. You see on the bottom left the code, and the QR code brings you right there as well. So at the end of the session, I also want to give some time for the questions at the end. You can ask them there. So I'll wait a few seconds and get some water. Wow, sorry about those sounds. Yeah, okay. ESA Academy. So very shortly, I think there was already a wonderful introduction, but ESA actually has a lot of different opportunities for you. One of them are training and learning programs. So these are courses given by ESA experts. This can be in space engineering, sciences, medicine, operations, communications, project and risk management, mission planning, and etc. It also gives you opportunities to do some hands-on space projects, and this is quite cool. Satellites, which is called Flyer Satellite, CubeSats, and some experiments, Fly Rocket, Rexus, Bexus, Petri. Actually, we have some, oh, where's Ota Michálek? We have some, there, yes. Ota, for example, did the Fly Rocket, and also some other courses, such as the Lady Bird to Spacecraft Communications training course. The Lady Bird Guide to Spacecraft Communications. This is also something I really suggest you recommend you to scan the QR codes or just remember the names there, because not a lot of people actually know about these internships and these training courses, and this is really something that can give you a very nice kickstart in space and to continue studying in space, and even after graduating, continue working there. Actually, this month we are the 8th of November. For 1 month, the ESA internships have opened up. These are a lot of internships. I don't want to put a number on it, but maybe about 100. Also, if you just Google it on jobs.esa.int, in the search bar you look for, or you type internships, you see all of the different internships there. There's really a dozen of topics where you can see maybe something fitting. And maybe a question, has anyone applied to anything from ESA? Internships, courses, trainings? We see a hand there, Albert Buchal, yes, yes, yes. So look around you, the people having their hands up. If you want to talk to them, those are the people you want to talk to, and see, if they can give some tips and tricks as well. So CV resume, this, because we don't have that much time, I will keep it very limited. So there's no time to talk about different types of resumes. And I would just say make use of the internet according to job vacancy. Okay, it's very broad advice, but actually there's a lot of good things on the internet you can find, even on Reddit. There's quite some good conversations going on with some tips and tricks. It also depends if you're going to apply to an internship, to a traineeship, to a job, etc. But maybe a few things I will point out. Well, what I said before is adapt to the job description. Number of pages, I myself, well, personally, I keep it to max of 2 sides. More than that is really not recommended. Why do I say 2 sides? Because some people have the opinion that maybe 1 side is good. I think personally it is too small, because if you've done many things, or you want to do include many things, it becomes very a bit chaotic. And that's also for someone from the recruitment team. I think it's also not so. It may be sometimes too busy. If you can, bullet points are always preferred. Picture, this really depends on where in the world you are applying to, and what what you feel comfortable with. I myself usually don't do it, because they also have your LinkedIn, I think, so they can see how you look there. Again, according to the job description, so maybe some courses, some trainings that you did that are relevant to this. Could be good, languages, soft skills, etc., etc. What's also quite important, categorization. Really make it quite structured. Recruitment teams, I think they like it. It makes their work much more simple. You could, for example, do work, education, internships, volunteering, student teams, achievements, other experiences, etc. Is there, or maybe show of hands again, who actually had to create a motivation letter and a CV already? Okay, and who didn't? Okay, a few, yeah. So again, look at the people who raise their hands, and then maybe they can also give you tips here. And good luck also. So, the most important part, motivation cover letter. Very simple, if you have your one side of A4, usually, again, this is quite a personal, well, there's no one manual that's, that has the perfect description for creating a motivation letter. But I would personally start with the top, just a very simple title, limit your personal information. I just do my name and date because they have your CV. If they want some personal information, that's where they look at. And include the position you're applying to. Also maybe, for example, you can include the job position code. It shows them that, you're quite a structured person doing so, I would say. To start, just the PG means paragraphs. So to start, you just have to make a connection. I'm applying to this position. I believe that my academic background in blah 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 and my experience in makes me a valid candidate to this position. Just keep it short to to get the train going. The body is the most important part. I usually do it in 3 paragraphs, but again, it's according to the job vacancy. So what are you currently doing that relates to the position? What are other things you did that relates to the position? So maybe again some trainings or some internships, and then currently you're working at this company doing systems engineering in this project that relates to the job that you're applying to. What are other things that you did that relates you to as a person and can be useful for the job? This is sort of soft skills, maybe the team player, character, personality is quite important. Then you can show here, saying like, okay, this is what I've done, this is why I'm showing this, because this shows that I'm quite a team player, etc. Then the end, I would usually go back to why you're applying. Here you can maybe say any bigger goal. It's my career ambition to become a systems engineer of a large ESA mission, and this is like a very nice next step. Well, don't say very nice, but this is a good step to achieve that goal. Then how will you help the team? So show your personality a bit, and also again a short connection to the next step, which you can say, I'm looking forward to talking with you about more in like an interview, etc. And any words of thanks. So the most important part, and I will get some water again, sorry. So I give you 12 tips that I usually apply to if I'm applying to jobs that I think could be quite useful as well. Okay, so before you start, brainstorm, because if you're just on a blank page, on Overleaf, on Word, on LaTeX, when I started, I just stare at the screen and then I put the laptop down and I go watch some Netflix or YouTube. It's good to just start writing down keywords, maybe some expressions, certain phrases that while you're showering and you think about, this could be actually quite a nice phrase. Just write it down. Get past this procrastination phase. Usually a mind map helps with this. Let's see. We have a cover letter, and then the first level, okay, you've got your introduction, you've got the qualifications, experience, skills, achievements, keywords, etc. And then you can include, okay, if I want to talk about my experience, I'm going to talk about internships. What student teams did I join? What was my role there, etc. Any certifications you did? And maybe there's a lot of people from the Czech Rocket Society, so maybe you can also talk about that. So brainstorming, quite important. Left is bad, right is good. So if you brainstorm, I think if you don't do it, you're gonna hit a wall to start, and then before you know it, the application deadline is in 2 days, and you're gonna have 48 hours of hell. If you do some brainstorming, you're off to a good start, and that's always a good thing. So confidence, by a very simple example here. If you say, if you mention in your cover letter, like, I guess I'm a good candidate, the recruitment team, when they read that, it's like, the person thinks But if you say, I believe, I consider, it's a bit stronger. It makes you appear a bit more, stronger. And I believe I am a strong fitting candidate. So maybe some of these examples you think like, yeah, it's super obvious, but this is something where I see in the first versions at the very beginning that I actually made these mistakes. So confidence, over or underconfidence. Yeah, if you're overly confident, that also doesn't give off a good signal. So you just need the right amount of confidence. Then negative to positive. So some of these examples are from people. I did some outreach events for ESA in the past 3 years. And I've read to quite some motivation, cover letters, etc. Some of these are examples from these letters, but I have permission for those. So part, for example, was, although these skills are lacking or limited, you can change it to something positive, like true, blah, 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 I have gained a solid basis for. And I will just give you an actual example of this. So someone mentioned in the cover letter academic limitations, which also doesn't give a very good impression, I think. So you can reword it to something like, I don't know, despite blah, 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 I was able to get acquainted with Y and then resulting in an expanded understanding of Z. So it turns something negative to positive. Well, obviously, red is negative and it's better to give it a positive twist. Filler words, we all fall into this trap. Try to limit this. I mean, you need them to get the story going, but in order to, needless to say, as part of my work there, I am engaged in, as a result, it's try to limit them. So too many filler words and then the right amount of filler words. So keywords. This, I think, is maybe the most important part of a motivation letter. What I mean with this is you just have to look at your job description, see what kind of keywords they put there. We'll go to an actual example in a bit, and research about it using the internet, because this is going to link you with the job vacancy or the job position. They're going to see that you did your research, and I think some companies, they also use software that kind of looks for certain keywords. If you're under that threshold, then you're dismissed. So leave a trail of breadcrumbs. So I like to call it breadcrumbs. You just have to mention enough things that sparks their interest a bit, and you don't have to say everything because that's too much. Just enough is enough, but just leave enough breadcrumbs for them to think, actually, that person did some research, did say the right keywords, the right things. Okay, we want to interview him or her. So breadcrumbs, very important. So no use of keywords. I've seen motivation or cover letters that actually didn't include those. So it's actual examples, and then keywords from the job description. So how does that look? The cupola, quite nice. But this is one of the YGT positions that was just from last year. So the Young Graduate Trainee or YGT in Propulsion System Engineering for Argonaut. So if we look at that, Argonaut. What's that? If you don't know about it, look it up, and then you can make that connection as well. The Directorate of Human and Robotic Exploration Programs. Okay, maybe the website from ESA, there's like a web page about this. Could be quite useful to just read in, research, and then maybe find the right keywords to connect it to this. Don't have to read everything, we're also not going to do that. So our team and mission, let's see, as part of Terra Novae, E3P. What's Terra Novae? And this is also from someone that I actually read the cover letter and tried to give some feedback. That person didn't mention Terra Novae, and it was actually, this is a very important initiative from ESA, so that's why, this keyword, for example, is quite important. Another one, NASA-led Artemis program. I've seen someone here with a nice Artemis gateway, socks and pins, so that's also part, that's very good. Use these keywords, they're quite important, so I'm going to keep on saying it. Keywords, keywords, keywords. Lunar descent element, LDE, what's that? Gateway, potential moonlight lunar communication and navigation services, so all, phase A, phase A, B1 studies, etc., etc. Here even, you are encouraged to visit the ESA website. I know, they just use it as a copy-paste everywhere in each of these positions, but this is also breadcrumbed by them, like do your research. Fields of activity research for a traineeship. Argonaut propulsion lead, etc. I think you get the message, right? Keywords are quite important. If anyone is interested, the YGTs open every February of each year for 1 month, and it's also about, I think, 100 positions. I really recommend it. Use of emotions, try to limit this. We've all fallen into this trap, especially with ever since I was a child. I know in my first version, when I was applying for the YGT, this was something in there. That year, HR received about 8,000 applications, and I think maybe a multiple of them, they started with, since I was a child, I've been passionate about space as a kid. I remember as a kid, if you read it once, maybe, it's quite nice, that person is really passionate. But if you keep on reading it over and over and over, it gets a bit annoying and a bit like, yet another one. So don't include this, I would say. Just back up your cover letter with actual examples. Don't put too much emotions. I mean, of course, you can put a little bit, but as a kid, ever since I was a child, it doesn't add much. You are applying for a job. They need to see why it makes sense that you apply to a job, and such an expression doesn't actually specifically help you with convincing them that they should at least interview you. So another one is I've been following the Curies webpage webinars. That's good, but it doesn't add anything to your strength and to your skills. So emotion, too much emotion, and then here limited use of emotion, because we're also not robots. Which is actually a Czech word, right? Robot, it's quite nice. Anything you say, anything you state, you should back it up with relevant examples. So here, link your experiences, so courses, projects, student teams, hackathons, awards, internships with your statements. Because otherwise they're just empty statements, and it also doesn't make you stand out from the others. So really, if the recruitment team reads about, okay, this experience, this is super useful, this person was doing a student team, won a hackathon, okay, this is super nice, because you also show that you were part of a hackathon. Maybe you've won it, maybe not, that's all right. But you back it up with relevant examples. Yeah, it has to be relevant, needless to say. So loose statements, and strong statements. Next one, there's going to be 12, so if you feel a bit too bored, there's only 4 more or 5 more to go. It's being too general. Make it specific. So there were some statements like, I have a strong interest in space exploration. Okay, yes, but what is space exploration? If you're going to apply to, again, Argonaut or maybe a lunar lander, then tell them, like, why specifically the lunar lander? And I think I also have another example here. I do not. No, but I hope you get the message here. Okay, so too general. If you make it too general, then why are you applying to this job specifically? So there's maybe no genuine interest, or maybe it's perceived as such. And if you give relevant examples and being quite specific to the job, but then you show an actual genuine interest. And again, here it goes back to keywords. Next one, also a very important one, is reach out. When I applied, first I thought, all these current YGTs, I'm a bit scared of them, they maybe don't want to talk to me, they don't want to give advice. But I actually reached out, so I looked on LinkedIn via, and they were super nice. And what's there to lose, right? If there's someone that doesn't want to talk to you, or like, okay, I'm not going to help you, fine, you're not losing anything with it. But if there's that someone, maybe it's just a YGT in general, not specific to a job position you're applying, that person's like, yeah, I want to help you. We've all been there, we've all sat there behind the screen trying to create something good for being accepted. Maybe that person also knows a person that's doing exactly what you're applying to. So really reach out, send messages on LinkedIn. We, as in the people, the YGTs or the people that done it before, I think the majority of us wants to help you, because we think if you already put your effort and you do proactive work, you reach out to us, that's already very, that's already very good. I think it deserves an applause. And that also shows your determination, and we're very happy to help you. So don't be shy, just do it, just send a message, there's nothing to lose. Takes you 1 minute on LinkedIn to find a person, maybe 2 minutes to write a message, and it can maybe mean a world of difference. Again, I'm sorry, I'm referring quite a lot to YGTs. This is, I think, for quite many things like traineeships, internships, maybe work-related a little bit less, but you know, you can always try. I think you should always try. This is something I had to teach myself as well, because I was a bit shy in the beginning and, like, you know, a bit scared of them. So I did it, and actually, well, that's also the reason why I'm standing here. Yeah, so people can help you, shows your determination. Otherwise, it's really a missed opportunity. And if you reach out, they can give you tips, so it's quite useful information. Then the third, last one, iterate. Read and improve repeatedly. Involve friends and family for a different view. This is what I did. This is also when I took out the ever since I was a child, and I was told by current YGTs, like, yeah, this is too much, you know, we've seen this all the time, we've all fallen in this trap, remove it. Involve your parents, brothers, sisters, family members, just anyone, because they can really give valuable information. Because if you've read your cover letter for, I don't know, 100 times, you're not going to see the difference anymore. It's going to be a bit too much. So they can give you a different perspective. So iterate. If you don't do it, it's kind of a rough version. And if not, if you do iterate, it's improved versions, obviously. And then the second to last one, abbreviations. ESA, NASA, you know, they're very common abbreviations. There's a school, university in France, it's called IPSA, or super-héros. IPSA, not everyone knows it. So think about if you're going to use abbreviations, if it's a well-known abbreviation. If not, at least the first time you mention it, you can also give the full word. Abbreviations, if you use ones that are not well-known, it kind of ruins the reading flow. And you want them, actually, the recruitment team, to see your motivation letter, your cover letter. They read through it in one go and they're like, yeah, this is a good one. They don't want to stop like, oh, ever since I was a kid. Oh, what is this abbreviation? So, you know, you want them to give them the reading flow. Final check, I hope it's readable, yeah. So I think here the 4 hours is not 4 hours. It should be at least 10 times more. But yeah, final check is very important. Typos, anything, it ruins the reading flow. It can, you know, it really can make or break it. And yeah, so final check, you can make some mistakes, like I just did here, you see. So I didn't do a final check here. But if you did your final check, you've given everything you did. So when I had my final version and I uploaded it, I have to say it was a few minutes before the deadline. Don't do that. But when I uploaded it, I was like, you know, this is all I've given. You know, if I don't get it, it's fine. I've done my best. I know that I couldn't have done any better, or not to a large extent. If I get it, okay, fine. But if I don't get it, at least I know how to, or I think I know how to write improved versions of a motivation letter, etc. So, final check. Overview, I'm obviously not going to go through all of it, but if you feel like taking a picture, this is maybe quite useful. Give you 5 seconds. 4, 3. Okay, next one. Interview tips. So on the day itself, very, well, maybe a nervous day or not, it's good to be nervous. There's some good nerves. Too much is also not good, but a little bit nervousness is always good. Situation is actually an interview online now with since COVID with real people. I know with ESA, sometimes the first version is actually you just talking to a computer, to webcam, just questions appear on the screen. There's no break in between, there's no pauses, they just record. After 30 seconds of you reading the question, it's quite stressful. Maybe with this, these things are stressful. The people that are recruiting you, they know that. So don't give up if you have such a stressful interview, just keep on going. Because no one is going to do a perfect interview like that. And that's what I meant with a lot of people thought, you know, after the first round, we totally messed up, you know. It's like, okay, this is it, no ESA for us. But actually, for some of us, it turned out quite nice. So, yeah. So prepare the room, very simple. Check if your Wi-Fi is good. Yeah, I'm sorry for these skills, but it's the best I could do for now. Table, chair, maybe a laptop as well. That could be useful, right? Documents. So I don't think most people do that, or at least a few people don't. What I had in my job description, I saw some references, some names, and actually started Googling it, and I saw some presentations online. I saw some documents with codes and letters and people and names. And during my interview, actually people started talking like, okay, there was actually a point where I could sort of refer to that document. And they were quite pleasantly surprised. And they were like, okay, what's the name of the person that's on the document? And I was like, this is Mrs. blah, blah. Like, okay, nice. And what's the code? So this is how you make a connection. And they also see then, okay, you've done your research. You've even got it printed out. So it gives you a very positive, I think, leap forward. So documents, let's put them there in the corner. A glass of water. No one likes a dry mouth, as you can hear with me now. It's quite useful there. It also gives you a break. So let's say if it's quite stressful, you have your glass of water, you take a sip, it gives you a few seconds to relax and to give you, not this situation, let's say. Dress code, okay, very important. I think the statement should be like you can always overdress but never underdress. If you go to a job interview and you've like a 3-piece suit with a tie and everything, or a very nice dress, and you feel like, and then the people on the other side, they just have a t-shirt or, you know, that's fine. Like you can be overdressed, because that also shows how serious you are about the job. I mean, you don't have to go for a suit, maybe like a sweater or a nice shirt or something. But if you underdress, if you've got your Hawaiian shirt, I don't know if you're gonna stand and they see like you have shorts or maybe just your boxers. Underdressed, you know, it's not good. It doesn't give a good vibe. So always go for maybe a bit more than overdressed, not underdressed. Details, this is up to yourself, but I was quite a nerd with doing that, because I had the Lego ISS, I had a mug where I put my water that said ESA, I had like a satellite from ESA, also with the European Commission. It was, well, I don't remember, maybe, no, Iolus, so a wind satellite. I did put it on the back, you know, that once the interview opened, they could sort of see it. They didn't see it. I even put like a nice astronaut pin on my suit. Too much, but you know, you can overdress. But then at some point when I started drinking water, just because dry mouth, then the lady from HR, I think it's always going to be someone from HR, she like just started, you know, laughing. It's like, oh, you've got ESA on your mug. It's so cute, blah, blah, blah. So it also gives like a positive twist to this interview. So when I did that interview, I was like, actually, it was a nice interview. And at the end, maybe it's very irrelevant, but also we just had a talk. We had a very nice chat. And at the end, I was like, okay, if I don't get it, fine. I had a very nice conversation. I did all I could, and I can move on with a good feeling. But yeah, details like these, they sort of also break the ice as well, or can break the ice. Of course, well, let's put it there in the corner. Of course, depending on the job application, these things might be a bit too much. So, for example, if you're going to apply for a company, quite a serious company, you will find, well, I think you will conclude it from the job description, but this might not be perfect for any situation. But at least for traineeships, internships, I think it could make a difference. Then, a few weeks ago, so these are, I think, 40 or 54 astronauts. A few weeks ago, there's actually this association called the Association of Space Explorers. It's every astronaut or every person that went to space, went back, and at least orbited once. So these weird people like Jeff Bezos, they're not included. And every year they come together, different places. This year I was in the Netherlands, and I was also in the Netherlands back then. And well, it's epic, right? So I was very lucky to be part of the crew assisting them for 1 week. You see here Rusty Schwackert, Apollo 9. You've got Victor Glover, who will go around the moon on Artemis 2. Who else? Bob Cabana, astronaut, of course, but then 13 years as a director of the Kennedy Space Center. Helen Sherman, the first British astronaut and the 4th women in space. So really a crazy, well, a good crazy group of people. And because it was a week, we started talking, of course, and you know, you ease down. It's quite nice because the center is not on one astronaut, so people get quite relaxed, and that was a very nice feeling. And you could just have talks and maybe try some awkward jokes. But actually, a lot of people, they said, and this is not the literal expression. I forgot it, and I should have written it down. But actually, quite some people said how they got into. So you don't have to be an astronaut. You don't have to want to become an astronaut. But with whatever you do, become the expert of your passion. Don't try to find out what works. Just maybe you like rockets, so you become part of the rocket society. This is something, and then maybe at some point there will be a very nice opportunity that is about your passion, because about your passion you want to work, right? You want to wake up every day and you just want to work on it. If you do it the other way, not so much. So quite so many people from these astronauts, they said this, that they just followed their passion, and then one day just a very nice position opened up, and that got them into becoming an astronaut. There was even one astronaut who became astronaut, I think in his 40s or 50s, because he kept on trying, but he kept on trying with the thing he was very passionate about. Just another cool Marcus one. So he just had his mission, I think 1 year ago, almost in January. But yeah, maybe one day you'll be sitting there as well, and then looking at the screen there. So that was it, more or less. I hope, because it's quite late as well, so I'm sorry for that. But you can contact us, not just, we've got, for my sincere thanks, first of all, to Jan, to Simon, and to Ota, and the whole organizing team. Thanks for the invitation. So Jan, he can talk about anything. I don't think he needs an introduction, also for Ota and Simon not. But he especially can talk about ESA Academy and what ESA can do for you as a student. Well, if you think you can use me, if I can read motivation letter, cover letters, CVs, just reach out to me on LinkedIn or email, etc. I think the same for Ota. He can also mention how he got into these training courses from ESA, etc. And now a spacecraft systems engineer, space manic, and also part of the Czech Rocket Society. And then Simon Klinge as well, as actually a high school student. I think I bow to you, like you're 17 years old and you're already here doing so many things. So that's very applaudable. So thank you for that. I think, yes, question time. So do you have any questions? Maybe you have some questions on Slido. If you feel more comfortable asking the question in Czech, do it and then someone will translate it. So yeah, thank you very much. Voilà.
So, as Kim said, if we have any questions, you can be comfortable saying them in Czech and I can translate them. I looked on Slido, we have no on that, so any questions? Was there?
Yeah.
I can't see it actually. Is there? Okay. So if you could please give me, because I have 0, but I have probably... Jesus! And I have 0. Okay. That's like weird. Okay, thank you. So we have like a million questions.
There's 2 Slidos.
Oh, there are more of them.
Okay. So we have actually quite some questions then.
So, Kim, what is the most impressive thing you've ever seen in a resume?
You got me there. I don't know who it was, but I can't give you an answer on that. But I would say, very cringe maybe, but just follow what you're passionate about, and it doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to fit whatever you want to become or whatever you have to apply to. So,
all right.
Kind of omitted that question. And don't lie. Exactly. Yes, that's a very good one. Just talk about, be very honest and open about who you are, what you do, and don't make yourself, because they will see right through you at some point. Thank you for that. That's a very good one. Yeah.
Then we have, how confident or ambitious should I present myself in front of ESA in the motivation letter?
That's back to the over and under confidence. So I think statements like "I believe," I consider these it gives a positive twist. It shows that you are quite confident, but you don't say like, "I've done this, I've won this award, I've won that award," I won so much money from this hackathon or something. Just stay humble, but also don't use like weak words like "I think" or like that. So this is, I don't know if that answers the question, but just find the right amount of confidence and let others read it as well, and maybe ask them, okay, what's the feeling you have? Are you a strong candidate? Are you just bragging too much, etc.? So
now we have a funny one, I'd say. A lot of companies are using an automated AI reader nowadays to get through all the applications.
Yes.
How to hack them?
Don't hack them, because don't lie. And this is actually, thank you for the question, because I forgot to mention it. ChatGPT, personally, I would say don't use it. Just believe in yourself and with the feedback you get from others. But if you're going to use it, just use it to existing phrases and expressions that you already wrote down. If you're going to use it right at the beginning, I think people now have a sense to see, especially if it's like a full one-pager, that they can feel, this is not natural. There's something from ChatGPT. There's also some softwares already that check for AI use in these letters. So if you're going to use it, use it only to correct your phrases or to make it slight improvements, but just be yourself. And then again, with the no lying thing, this is what you are, this is how you present yourself, and if you get it, then it's a very nice feeling. But if you're still going to use it, maybe use it in incognito browser in a different file, and then maybe type it yourself in the actual file, because maybe the software can see this. Wow.
I have a very quick reaction for what happened in my division a couple of months ago in an interview where the candidate was using an AI or ChatGPT. And of course, the head of division was using the same GPT text and read the very same text. So they know about it, don't do it.
Yeah.
There are not many things that make them angry as this.
ChatGPT, so don't use it.
The candidate was eliminated straight away.
Yeah. And you're only fooling yourself. Like, what do you lose with trying to think, how you need to express yourself? I think, yeah.
I just want to say, the people there much more want to see you being enthusiastic and you feeling, nice about that job and what you really feel and what you really think than what a ChatGPT can write.
Yeah.
So maybe even I'd prefer as a kid or since I was a child, and basically I think anyone would prefer that to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What would be your recommendation if we apply for positions where other candidates have more opportunities or experiences? And the question is probably related, like for other countries, so France, Germany, or.
For ESA, this is a tricky part. In all honesty, if you're from an overrepresented country, chances are, for the moment, with the policy that ESA has, it's not very positive. But for example, the Netherlands, they have not so many citizens, but they also don't invest as much into ESA. So in the past 3 years, I haven't seen any YGT except for one. So before now, Italy, J-return is basically how much the country puts per capita or per head into ESA. This is relatively how many people you sort of should hire or should have at ESA. Countries like Italy before, they were overrepresented, so too many people, too many people at ESA, so you didn't see any YGTs. But actually 2 years ago, it changed, it became balanced, and then we had a lot of Italian YGTs. For some other countries, Portugal, Ireland, Greece, it's not looking great. It hasn't looked great with the investments and then how many people could join. Czechia, we actually had some YGTs. So if you're Czech, I think you can also find it online. I don't think you're from an overrepresented country. Okay. So please, internships, but also, internships, they don't apply, but still apply for internships, but also for YGTs, because this is actually a first filter. If you're from an overrepresented country, it's too bad. And then they look at the people from balanced or underrepresented countries. So do apply, yeah.
The next question is whether we should change something with our application when we are under 18 years.
Under 18 years old?
Yeah.
And change in what context?
Not sure, but maybe it's meant like whether there is a person that is wondering if he or she could apply for some position in ESA, whether she should or he should somehow change the application when is under 18, but that will be probably like covered by the possibilities of the application.
Yes, yeah, they have age ranges, or then maybe for internships.
Yeah.
I think if you're below 18, then maybe your parents need to write an extra document saying, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
But
Do you think it is possible actually to do this and then go to the internship, or is it like strictly 18?
I think with ESA it's from 18 and above, yeah. But
Right.
yeah, this is on the website. I don't know by heart, but this is what I think, yeah. Oh, yeah. The yellow microphone we have.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering if are there actually positions for internships when you are a high schooler, not university? Because those which you were showing there, I was checking it on LinkedIn, and in fact these are for when you are close to master's degree. So in fact, it does not apply for people who are under 18. So are there jobs which are actually
Not jobs, but
or I mean jobs
yes.
meaning internships, something like that?
ESA Academy, and there actually the website is quite. It really mentions everything. If you go to ESA Academy to the main page, you scroll all the way down. Then in the overview, you have all of the different possibilities, like the Ladybird Guide, the ESA trainings in Belgium, everything there. And then Ota, Jan, Simon. Well, Simon, I'm not sure. ESA Academy, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but at least Jan and Ota, they can tell you all about it. Yeah.
I have something to add to that. In ESOC, we have the concept of German Praktikum, which is as short as 2 weeks or as long as half a year, and it's basically a very specific German model of internship, and it's quite disorganized, but it is a possibility for very young people. We had people as young as 15 joining the flight control teams.
This is something I really recommend, because I didn't, and I really, I'm sad that I didn't try it back then. So.
This basically all the ESA Academy things and things that Kim was presenting is about the 18 plus really, so not for the high school students. Yeah, so basically you need to study university to get to ESA Academy programs and internships and all of these. So like this. And maybe one thing I'll translate in Czech, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
Jedna věc, která, nevím, jestli jste úplně přesně pochopili, protože když se v tom úplně neorientujete, Kim tady zmínil geonávratnost. Zaznamenali jste to? A řeklo se tady přesně, jestli jsme under nebo over, jak se to říká? Representative. Takhle, represented, tak. To vlastně znamená, že vlastně, když stát, jako Česká republika dává do ESA asi procento rozpočtu. Jo, necelé procento rozpočtu. Jo, hladí Česká republika. A to vlastně tak jakože úplně lehce na papíře by mělo znamenat, že vlastně procento zaměstnanců, jo, každý z těch zaměstnanec v ESA by měl být Čech. Ale vlastně úplně v podobné logice to funguje i v rámci těch jako stáží a těchhle z těch věcí. Jo, všech těch jako programů, to YGT a tak dál. A to tak znamená, že vlastně když je vás méně než setina, když to řeknu jednodušeně, tak vlastně jsme ten, jako kdyby, že máte výrazně snazší šanci se tam dostat, protože jste ze státu, který plně nevyužívá možnosti tam mít zastoupené ty lidi. A my jsme teď v tom státě, jsme ve státě, který jako vlastně budete mít tu pozitivní motivaci, pozitivní diskriminaci. Jo, že vás budou jako, teď budu zlej, znáte to, že jo, prostě jste žena, tak máte přednost, protože prostě mají ve firmě málo žen, jo, jako prostě to je fakt, jo. Takže jste z Česka, máte výhodu se tam dostat, máte větší šanci se tam dostat, protože jste z Česka. Jo? Kim to tady zmiňoval, že vlastně Holandsko nedává tak moc peněz, to znamená, neviděl téměř žádného dalšího Holanďana, který prostě je to na tom YGT programu. Jo? Přitom má Holandsko 17 milionů lidí. Jo? Chápete, co s tím říkáme? Jo? Takže jenom ať chápete tady tuhle věc, a geonávratnost je jako kdyby tenhle ten princip a právě to, jestli je under nebo over, a my jsme zrovna ten stát, který fakt naplno využívá těch možností. Máte snazší se tam dostat. Jsem chtěl říct. Snad to pochopili.
Cool. Díky Honzo za tohle. Maybe Kim, if we could, and the last question could help us with that. Just sum up what you said us, because the last question I have here is how does the worst resume you can create look like? And maybe then we could compare it with the best, like if you could just in one sentence say the worst things and then the best things.
Sure, yeah. I had a too long didn't read slide as well. TLDR. Let's see if I can find it. If you blabber too much, you go into some detail that's really not relevant, but you think like, this is actually something really nice, but it doesn't relate to anything, and then you keep on talking about it. You add years, you add dates, some things that really don't make sense. Then you're just wasting your space, and you're wasting the recruitment team's time with things that are not relevant. Being too emotional, and sorry again for ever since I was a kid, don't be too emotional, because they're not there to, maybe for internships it's a bit different, but for the YGT, again, they read through thousands and thousands of motivation letters. They just want to see very concise, to the point, this is what you can offer, this is what makes you stand out, and why you be a valid candidate. Don't do your research, don't use keywords. This is really a no-go, I would say. So think of it this way, you need to convince them that you're the right candidate. So how are you going to do that? So then the good part would be, again, concise, not too emotional, do your research, keywords, and if it doesn't work out, it's also fine. You can try another time, another year, somewhere else, but at least you had the critical thinking of how to construct a CV, how to construct a cover letter, and that you can keep on recycling. If I look back, for example, at my cover letter for the YGT, I would have changed many, many things. But back then, with the knowledge I had, it was something good. And then, I think it was all right. And then with recycling it, keep on recycling it, this is how you improved it. So
cool.
So
we have even one more note, not a question, that next Tuesday there is an ESOC holding a mini job fair, so you can find actually the link to it now in the poll, but we'll definitely talk with Ota, send it to you via email. So thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you as well.
And
Thanks.